Um, Jonathan McKinstry, do you see the CACAFA Cup for national teams as an important one for you for Uganda?
I think the Sakafa Cup's an important development marker for us. I think it would be fair to say Uganda, we've now won the tournament 15 times, and more than, I think, twice as much as any other country. I think Kenya have maybe won it 7 or 8 times. And so it's a competition that we take seriously, because if we didn't take seriously, we wouldn't have that many victories in it. But also, it's not the height of our ambitions. You know, if you said that the only thing Ugandan football, you know, brings home is a Sakafa Cup title every 2 years, it's not good enough. Our aims are to be involved and be competitive at African Cup of Nations, to see a growing competitiveness in the World Cup qualification process. These things are hugely important to us, but the Sakafa Cup is a great, you know, opportunity, again, for young talent to gain that exposure, get that experience of playing for Uganda, and for them to learn our game model, how we play, to build a relationship with the coaches, so that as we move forward, when we do bring them into the senior national team, it's not brand new, that they've already had the staging post. You know, it's a bit like climbing Mount Everest. You've got to have base camps along the way. And yeah, the Sakafa Cup's an important base camp where people can have that introduction to international football in a competitive environment, and those who excel can take the next step.
You're a young man, especially in coaching terms. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 and 10 years?
Well, I've always been very cautious about that question, because really football is like a meandering river. You know, it's not a highway. You're not going to go directly in the direction, but as long as you're still making progress, I think that's important. The job here with Uganda is a huge one. You know, I was very contented working out in Asia, and then the opportunity was presented to me to come back to Africa and work with the Ugandan national team, and it was one of those ones that I couldn't turn down, because I knew what had happened in the recent years and the experience and the quality within that group, but I also was aware of this new generation of players coming through, some of who are here with us here at Chan, but also some who, like I said, would have been here a year ago but have now moved abroad. And again, guys who are only 19, 20, 21 years of age who are breaking through. And it's a really exciting time for Ugandan football. We've said, as a federation, 2026 is our firm objective to go to the World Cup. So that's the marker we've set down for ourselves, the Mexico, Canada, USA World Cup. We believe with the group we've been given for the 2022 World Cup, we have a competitive chance to win our group, and then we'll see if we do that, what the playoff throws up. But a group that contains Rwanda, Kenya, and Mali is definitely one that we feel we can be competitive in. So, you know, the next few years, genuinely, we believe we can go to a World Cup in the next 6 years. And so for me, why would you want to be anywhere else?
Is there anything else you'd like to add in terms of, well, first, before that one, of the team that you have brought here, the squad, which of them do you think are good enough to move abroad and develop their game and become very, very good players?
Yeah, I think of this group, it's interesting because I think some of our group will interest clubs here in Africa, whether it's South Africa, North Africa. I think there's certain players are right for that market. I think other players the African market won't be interested in, but will be of interest to the European market, because different players, different skill sets. So I definitely think, you know, there's a few young players here. The likes our left back, Aziz Kayondo, is only 19 years of age. He'll go directly from this tournament to the under-20 AFCON, and I'm certain there'll be a lot of eyes on him, because I'm not sure how many players will go straight from here to Mauritania in a few weeks' time to play in that tournament. So I'm sure he'll be heavily looked at from people. Obviously, you noticed maybe a little bit older, but our goalkeeper Lukwago did very, very well. You know, you've got young lads like Karim Watambala who broke into the team, Shafiq Kajimu. You know, there's a lot of guys in there who I think are very technical footballers. You know, we intentionally didn't. We brought technicians. We tried to bring guys who know how to use the ball. And look, this was a huge experience for some of them, because for some of them it was a real wow moment of this is the intensity of top football, and they need to grow from that. But I think for a number of them, definitely there'll be clubs who are interested, and whether it's a case of clubs jumping in straight away to sign them now, I'm not sure. But I think definitely they'll be on the radar of other African leagues and also some European interest. Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add about Ugandan football, yourself, and any of the players that you want to mention?
I just think Ugandan football is growing, you know, exponentially. We're seeing every year, you know, a few years ago you'd be lucky if 1 or 2 Ugandan players were moving outside of Uganda. Then it got up to 3 or 4, and like I said, already this year, even with, you know, everything that's happening with the pandemic and the league being suspended for a long time, you know, we've seen 5 or 6 players move outside, and not to small leagues, to the Israeli Premier League, to the MLS, to one has just recently went to Spain. So we're seeing guys move out to really good competitive leagues, and I think that's going to happen more and more. So what I would say to people who are looking for, you know, talent is there's a lot of focus placed on West Africa for talent scouting, but I think East Africa and Uganda in particular is fertile ground for people to pay attention, to see developing talent who really can add value to teams and clubs going forward.
Okay.